Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. Very happy to be back with Graeme. Hey, Graeme.
Hi, Bashir. Hi, everybody.
All right, Graeme. So in your class, a couple different things themes that come up, and an interesting hand I played recently, and I just want to know if I'm doing these things right. I need some feedback.
All
So
right.
two ideas which are in my head as I'm bidding and playing these days. One is just always thinking about, what's the simplest way my partner and I can get to the best auction. It's something you're constantly, I think, challenging us to don't bid more than you need to. What's the simplest way that you can get there when you can get there in a simple way? And then also at the same time, you're giving us the tools. You've done a number of lessons about Q bids, about when we realize, this is a hand to, explore slam. Everyone, so many of us learners gut response when we think, well, this might be a slam hand, is just to ask for aces. And you're really expanding our toolkit. And Qbids is one of the tools that you've been, working with us as we become more confident with it. So here's this beautiful hand. I'll load it up. Immediately, I see, okay, slam-ish, maybe slam for sure. And I'll even pull it up, pretty quickly. I even had the thought, almost definitely slam, and probably everyone's going to be bidding slam. Should we explore either six no trumps or grand slam? Those were the questions in my head. It's like, if everyone's going to be bidding and making slam, is there a way we can find out if six no trumps would be possible? So that's to set it up. All right, the auction is laid out for us, and maybe, yeah, we can just step it through. And I'd like to get your reaction. I'd like you to, see if my thinking was right. Maybe this is just totally unnecessary and besides the point, but this was such a wild hand with what turned into a wild auction, which was the opposite of a simple, concise, to the point auction. But I felt like I was trying to find out information from partner, and I was trying to give information to partner that might be helpful.
Okay. So let's take a look at your auction.
Okay.
So North's opened a spade.
Yes. North's open a spade. Yep, exactly.
And you've bid two hearts, which is, okay, it's fine. It says you've changed the suit. So North has to bid again. And you've shown some hearts, which is great. You do have a spade fit because I suspect you're playing 5-card majors. So you've got a spade fit, but quite okay to bid two hearts just to get the ball rolling. And North bids two spades. And now you bid four clubs. So here we get into the bit of science.
Yeah.
So in this auction, four clubs should be what, Bashir? What is it?
A splinter.
It's a splinter. Perfect. Good one. All right.
And again, it's one of those bids where I'm making it going, am I doing this right? This is one of the things you've taught us. To be honest with everyone watching, I still don't feel confident when I use these, always knowing. So Graeme, tell us, what exactly does that splinter bid tell partner?
All right. So a splinter is basically an unnecessary jump in a new suit. So when you look at this auction, one spade, two hearts, two spades, had you bid three clubs, that would have been natural and forcing. So when you bid four clubs, it seems, why bid four clubs when three clubs would have done? So an unnecessary jump like that is a splinter. And a splinter says that you have support for partner's suit, which you do. And it also says that you've got a singleton or a void in the suit you just bid. So that four club bid there says I've got spade support and I've got a singleton or void in clubs, and I'm interested in bidding a slam. So you've described your hand pretty well. You've shown spade support. you've shown that you've got a heart suit, and you've shown that you've got a singleton club. So that's a pretty good description of your hand.
Okay. And so now partner comes back with 5 clubs, which, before your lessons, I would go, uh-oh, did partner think I'm asking for a club fit? But of course, it's not that. This is a cue bid from partner. What does this mean in response to a splinter?
Right. So North has said, okay, I sort of accept you've suggested that we at least explore for slam. And North has said, okay, I don't mind looking a little further. Because if North had a really bad hand, if North doesn't want to go beyond game, North could have just bid 4 spades, which would have been, I got nothing extra to say.
And at that point, I should just accept it, right? I had described my...
Not necessarily, because your hand's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
You won't necessarily want to slow down here.
Okay.
So let's come back to that in a second. So let's just go through the auction. So 4 clubs was a splinter. 5 clubs is now a cue bid, saying I've got first round control in clubs. And you've said 5 diamonds. I've got first round control in diamonds. And North said 5 hearts, which in this case can be first or second round control. All right. So that it may be the king of hearts or a singleton heart or something. I would suspect it's the king of hearts, to be honest. Maybe a singleton, but probably the king of hearts. You've bid 6 clubs. Now, I'm not quite sure what you meant with that 6 club bid.
Okay, so, well, I guess it was, I didn't want to sign things off in spades. I wanted to let partner know about my singleton. And because of how that might work well with my control of clubs, how that might work with partner's control, in the same way that I felt like, it was helpful knowing partner's singleton or king works really well with my ace. But at this point, I wasn't exactly sure. I was scared of bidding 5 spades and getting stuck there, or just going straight to slam. I just wasn't sure, I guess, at this point.
Okay. So all right. So let's just think about general slam bidding approach to slam bidding, or what mine is anyway. You can never be sure about things.
Yeah.
You can slam, even when you see the dummy, you won't necessarily know whether this is a slammer's going to make or not. So if you don't know when you see the dummy, you're certainly not going to know when you're just looking at the auction.
Yeah.
And what we tend to do when we're bidding is we bid so much because we want to be sure this is a big hand, this is an exciting hand, and we want to be sure when there's no way to be sure.
Right. Yeah. I think probably that's it, is a fear of, saying what I think might be our best contract, but wanting to keep the conversation over. So maybe, at this point, unnecessarily throwing it back to partner, trying to give some more information, but being wary of, acknowledging where we are already.
Okay, so let's look at another way we might look at slam bidding.
Okay.
So when we want to bid slams that make more often than not.
Yeah.
So if we're bidding a slam and it's only going to make 30 or 40% of the time, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
But if we bid a slam that makes, say, 60% of the time or 70% of the time, that's great.
Yeah.
And if every slam we bid is that successful, 60 or 70%, then we can live with a few that don't make.
Right.
Okay. In fact, we really want to be bidding like that. We don't want to be bidding 100% slams.
Right.
Always 100%.
Now, with our crazy strength after partner opens, I think I also got fixated on the idea, I think everyone's going to bid 6 spades. how can I find out if we can bid 6 no trumps to try to, or even 7 spades to try to get an edge on them? Should I not have worried about that? Is there a way to keep that question in mind while not getting stuck in, unnecessary back and forth?
Well, I mean, we got to walk before we can run, basically. So if you're confident with all your bidding and you know what all these bids mean, then sure, you might decide to look around for a 6 no trumps or 7 spades or even 7 no trumps. That's true. But you're talking about, you're talking about getting in the Formula One driver's car now, right? And if we can just get to bid good slams all the time or most of the time, then we're going to be so far ahead of everybody else who's at panic, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
So suppose we look at this hand, and I think you can use the same strategy, not just for slam bidding game, doubling the opposition, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
As soon as partner opened 1 spade, you told me, you looked at this hand and said, oh, wow, I think slam's probably going to be there.
And we have the spade fit.
And we got the spade fit, right? So by default, at this point, your default strategy, if you like, is to bid 6 spades.
Yeah.
It would take something strange to happen for you not to bid 6 spades.
Right.
So I know it looks a little simple, but in my opinion, there'd be nothing wrong with bidding 1 spade, 6 spades. It'd be a perfectly good option. Now, someone might say, oh, no, but we might this, and there'd be all sorts of reasons not to do it, which is fine. I accept that. But the danger is that you say, oh, I need to do all this stuff, and you go through all this crazy bidding and everything. Yeah. And by the time you get to the end of that bidding, you're so flustered. You're so, scared, in fact. You get scared and you think, oh, no, I don't know what to do now. Well, you knew what to do at the start. So in a sense, all this bidding that we're doing is to say, okay, well, I'm going to bid 6 spades, but I'm just going to do this bidding just in case there's something that might make me change my mind. If there's nothing to make you change your mind, then cool. I got no extra information and nothing else was useful to me, so I'll just go and bid 6 spades like I was always going to do.
But with this hand, we know pretty quickly we don't expect any reasons not to bid slam. These tools might be tools. You've talked before about, even asking for aces. That's an off ramp, not an on ramp. If we're approaching slam, we just want to make sure. But if we already have that confidence, like with this hand, maybe all these other tools, save them for when you are still unsure if slam is possible.
Okay, so good point. So let's look at just simply asking for aces. So you might decide on this hand, 1 spade, this is a pretty good hand. I can bid 6 spades here. But maybe we're missing 2 aces. Maybe. So another perfectly legitimate bidding auction would be 1 spade, 4 no trumps.
Yeah.
And whatever partner responds, providing partner's got 1 ace, then we bid 6 spades.
Yeah.
But yes, we're not bidding 4 no trumps to check to see if we're strong enough, because that doesn't tell us if we're strong enough.
Right.
It's
just making sure.
Just making sure. We've already decided that the strength was. Maybe this, we've talked a lot about this hand, but the one thing that we can sort of rely on is our gut, our intuition. And we don't want to be suppressing that intuition. So you said, as soon as you saw it, you've had the feeling, man, this is 6 spades.
Right. Trust that. Keep it simple. Use the tools selectively. when you need to be sure, when you need to find the confidence or the information to get somewhere. But if you already know where you're going, trust that feeling and go for it.
Trust the feeling as your default action. There's got to be something to stop you bidding six spades here.
Well, thank you, Graeme. Let me just pull up as folks can see, everyone, the slam is makeable. And I'll leave a link. You can play through it yourself. Graeme, it makes me think of a comment that one of the students in your class left on the class page just today or yesterday. You let me know. Just talking about putting things succinctly, being effective in your communication, and it's another good reminder. Even if we're learning new conventions, new possible bids, remember that, simple, effective is often the best route.
I guess you got to decide why you want to, play bridge. Some people love the complicated stuff, and some people just want to say it all in one bid, and that's either way, whatever's good for you works.
Well, let's open it up for folks watching. How would you have bid this hand? Would you have just gone for it? Is there information you would have wanted to share before leaping a slam, or that you would have wanted to get from partner before leaping to it? Leave a comment. Let us know. Do you agree, disagree? We'd like to hear from you.
Oh, actually, there's another question.
Yeah.
What is the best contract on that hand? Now, I know you can see the east-west cards, but just looking at the north-south cards, what contract would you actually want to be in? Would you want to be in 4 spades, 6 spades, 6 no trump, 7 spades, 7 no trumps?
All right. Leave it there. Put your money where your mouth is. Graeme, thank you so much. As always, it's just fun and helpful talking to you. Keep learning with Graeme. He has weekly lessons at learnbridgeonline.com. You would be most welcome to join us. Thank you, Graeme.
Thanks all. See you next time.